Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'll be telling you all about how I made this cool Helldivers short animation, and I'll give you all some tips on animating and compositing along the way. If you do end up enjoying this video, feel free to leave a like. It only takes a second and it helps me out a ton. Anyways, my first step was sketching. Normally I don't enjoy sketching, but it definitely helped me a ton on this project, and I have seen myself improve a lot from previous sketches. For this specific scene and shot ideas, I would sketch different angles. The most important thing above all is to get the general idea of your shot across to future you. If you need, you can write annotations for yourself to remember specific things, but for the most part, you want as much of it as possible to carry over into your sketch. As for the content of the shots themselves, I base a lot of it off of specific experiences, but in particular, these few clips. Oh, there's a hell bomb over here. I'm gonna try to lure the thing over here.
Insane bait.
This is gonna be an insane bait. Oh, dude, it worked! It worked! Did you see that?
Good job.
Oh, hell yeah. Once I had my idea sketched out, the first step was blocking out my shot. I would first figure out the position of my character and camera, which are the most important thing. Then I would flesh out the environments and the animation of the character and any other variables, such as a rifle or weapon of some kind being held. The ripped characters from the game have IK rigs created by the wonderful people on the Helldivers archive server, which is where I got a lot of these models. I also set up a constraint system for one arm to be attached to a certain part of the gun and move with it. This helped add realism to the way the characters are animated alongside making it much easier. For the environment on the level on Creek, RIP to the ones we lost there, I use weight painting to distribute the trees and the brush, with separate vertex groups for each. Weight painting has been one of my favorite features in Blender as of recent, and it's very useful for environments like this. For all of these environments, I used a big cube and gave it a principal volume and lowered the density a lot. This did have a big effect on render times, but it looked better than a mist pass would have, since you get God rays and other cool lighting effects. For multiple effects in these shots, I used 2D planes with a video on them to save on render times. This shot with the cluster bomb used this method, as well as the engines on the Pelican and muzzle flashes on the gun. Obviously the method isn't perfect, especially with the keying out of the sparks, and I did initially want to use particle systems for this, but I just didn't have time and it was kind of a shorter video. But anyways, to get a nice bokeh on the depth of field, wait, how do I say that? Bokeh? Really? Okay, so I was right.
Bokeh.
To get the nice bokeh on the depth of field, I use William Landgren's Pro Lens add-on alongside camera Shake of Eye by Ian Hubert, as always. Now to go into more detail in the animation, it was harder than it looked. For one, I have never fully animated humanoid characters until this short, and it was as hard as always. Almost all of the characters besides background ones are hand animated, such as this guy leaving the Pelican and this guy throwing a cluster bomb. I'm no expert, but some things I have learned along the way are to keyframe bones one at a time and to have all of them interact with each other in terms of the weight of the character shifting and also the interacting with the assets like the guns, stratagems, and the ground. I also try to look at references for some of the shots, but other shots I just sort of winged it. When animating the characters, I wanted to give the guns recoil without animating it all manually, so I opened the graph editor, which is normally pretty scary, but all I had to do was select keyframes and add a noise modifier to some of the rotation and location keyframes. Up close is not necessarily the best, but ultimately it wasn't as refined due to time constraints and wanting to put time into other shots. Another part of this project I emphasized more than usual was the lighting. Detail in the characters allowed light interaction that I previously only dreamed of. The level on Creek's lighting always has a great looking blue hue, and combined with the red lights of stratagems and the automatons allowed for cinematic looking shots with only slight color grading. My personal favorite trick was keyframing a gradient node and causing the stratagem beam to sort of just go up in a semi-realistic way versus just appearing. Another cool shot was the one with the explosion in the background. To add light to it, I just added a sunlight in the frame and then keyframed the brightness, color, and rotation, which in my opinion adds a lot. Just real quick, I'll dive briefly into my render settings. Most shots took 3 to 4 minutes per frame. Most of that can be attributed to the low light combined with volumetrics, and even then I still had denoising artifacts that were pretty much unavoidable without spending forever on the renders. I mostly just rendered overnight when I was at work or school, and it's probably the most back-to-back rendering I've done in a long time. Some shots were less demanding, like the close-ups that didn't contain much of the background, so I could get away with 200 to 500 samples to hide the stuff that wasn't in the shot. I exported using EXR format and DWAA lossy encoding so that I don't lose a ton of storage. As for compositing, I did a lot of it in After Effects, but I did start using DaVinci Resolve, which impressed me, and I may try editing my videos with it in the future. Anyways, I exported different layers such as the mist pass, which is used for any weather or coloring effects I only want to affect the background. Another pass is the emission pass, which I apply a glow effect to, and that casts light into the scene. A third pass is the ambient occlusion pass, which doesn't have much practical use besides for behind the scenes videos, which it serves as a good clay render without the scene's lighting. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, sort of a deep dive into my Helldivers render. It was a lot of fun making this animation. I do want to do more animations like this, but I'm also working on some bigger projects and some smaller projects, just trying to hone my skills before I go away to college. That's right, I'm going to college for animation. I'm going to Samford University. I'm going there for animation. I'm super excited. I'm going to be able to learn a lot of cool stuff and meet a lot of cool people. So I hope that doesn't disrupt the uploads as much, but I know for a fact that I'll have the whole summer to make videos for you guys, and I'm super excited for that. So definitely stay tuned for some more stuff coming soon, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
Last resort!